Ever wonder what can hold 300 pounds of men, women, children, and all of your stuff? This guy. This is our Wonderfold wagon. I've got some help from a few superheroes. We're gonna take a walk with the kids and I'll show you all about our Wonderfold 4 and why we think you need to just bypass a stroller and get yourself a wagon. Okay, y'all, after listening to this, I can hear that the wind is really, really bad on this particular day. So stick around to the end. I will talk through why we have this wagon and why we think this is so much better than a stroller. But what I'll do first is I'll give you guys kind of a walk around and a walk through of how we use our wagon. This is kind of our typical setup for the Wonderfold wagon. We have one of the seats included right here, complete with Batman mask, of course. So this one seat can hold 2 kids, and I'll show you in a minute, but you can put another seat right here so that you can hold 4 kids, because we have kiddos ranging in ages from 6 down to 2. We find that we have some that really just need to sit in the wagon, or we want to make space for stuff, so we just have the one seat in there. Now the cool part about this seat is that it's not like other wagons where the kids are just sitting in it. This seat, their feet can actually hang down, and so you can put things underneath their feet while their feet are just hanging down. And the other neat thing about these seats is they can recline. So you simply pull these guys further out. Well, I'll show you the reclining in a minute. So the seatbelt harness that they have on this is the 5-point harness, and it works like this. So you've got this one thing in the middle, and then you've got the 2 that will plug in on the sides. It's pretty great. I mean, honestly, we're of the age where we don't really need to use seatbelts anymore, so we don't, but it's nice to have. And I think you can even take them off. Maybe we should do that actually, so you don't have to have them even physically on there. Now the other cool thing that we really love, especially with the ages of our kids, is you have this flap so that the kids can let themselves in and out. That's really awesome, so that mom isn't like lifting and putting kids up and down. You know what I'm talking about. You're constantly putting kids in the wagon. They just take themselves in and out. Then there's also lots of pockets. This one here complete with a clean diaper, I hope. Yep, clean diaper. You know, just in case. There's pockets there. There's these pockets here on the side. I love these ones because it typically holds, what's up, Batman? It holds my water bottle, which is really nice because the kids can also, while the kids are in there, they can access the water. And you're not having to hand out water, especially if your kiddos are younger. They can just grab it right there. Okay, the other cool thing about this is you see how the sides are like the mesh? Well, if you needed to hide people, maybe to change clothing, which is what we've done before, it has this screen that comes down, and you can bring it down, it velcros to the side, and then boom, you can't see through anymore. Or also we've used it if someone's laying down here napping, then they can lay down there and nap pretty easily. And when you are finished, it just rolls right up. Mine, I'm doing this with one hand, so it will be so much easier for you when you do it with 2 hands. Although honestly, most moms are probably doing things with 1 hand anyways. And we're there. What's up, Flash? There's this other nice big, it's a soft side, but it's got like a the hard railing around the top here, and then it's got like a pad on the bottom. So you can fit all the things in here. Honestly, this thing is huge. It fits purses, it fits bags, it fits everything you need in this one little deal, and it zips closed, which is also really convenient and helpful. The other thing is this handlebar is really cool because you can adjust it depending on the size that you need. Sophia, can you give me a hand with this handlebar? Push this in for me. Push it in.
Well,
okay, see, so you can adjust it higher if you need to, or let's push it one more time. Let's adjust it lower. And you can adjust it lower if you've got perhaps a kiddo helping you to push, which is, you know, something that I typically have. Talking more about pockets and things on this side, you've got this really cool long pocket here, but it is a long zipper. It's divided into 2 sections. So if you only wanted to have one section open, you could, or if you wanted to have this section over here open, You could see the pocket's great. They just come in, they grab their water, and they walk off. Right, Ollie? Good? Yeah. Okay. So that is that pocket on that side. And this pocket comes on each one of the seats, has this type of pocket. What else? We've got this foot brake here. We love this foot brake. You push it down for brake and then pop it up to work. Now, it's not necessarily pedicure friendly, but it's still easy for you to use. It's not very hard. All right. Now I'm going to show you this guy, which is the little canopy visor thing. This part's really cool, especially if you have younger kids and they're napping, or if it's particularly sunny where you're at, which we're in Texas, and it definitely gets really hot and sunny. So this visor is great. So let me put this down and I'll show you all about it. Okay, so now that you've seen all about seats and pockets and all that good stuff, I want to show you guys this canopy really quick here. So this canopy comes, it's got these little pockets that clips that it fits into, and then you just take it out and you're going to be putting it into these little like holes on the side where each of the poles fit into, and then you can kind of put it down where it goes, and then you can have the canopy itself at different heights. And we're going to pause for dramatic effect here because right about now is when I am learning that our two massive dogs got out, and things go a little sideways here. Okay, so everything's back now. Now here you can see that we've got the canopy at the top, and the canopy you can actually slide for to be on the very, very top, or it can be on the left-hand side, it can be on the right-hand side. This I find really helpful if obviously if the sun is coming in from one side or the other, or if there's significant wind on one side. I'll also do like different heights with the canopy depending on the kids that I have or what our solution is. For example, one day we had someone that was trying to take a nap, so we lowered the canopy all the way down so that the napper could lay down on the floor and have kind of a peaceful situation. I also love that the canopy sits right there in itself, and it's able to just stay clipped in to the stroller, the wagon, and I don't have to take it off and on. Okay, so we've got some kids trying to climb in now. We want to give you guys a demo of what it really looks like when all the kids go in. We've got the 2 sets of seats here, and then we've got all the kiddos getting in. I feel like had she not been wearing those big old boots, that it would have been a little bit easier to show you how the babies can crawl underneath the seats and then up through. But here they are. They are all happy. It is a fantastic solution for our family. I'm a big fan of the wagon. And then everybody can just hop out and get along their merry way. I'm gonna take this seat out for ourselves just because that's how we normally use it. And little Ollie will be able to crawl out on his own. Okay, and this is just showing you really quickly how easy it is for it to unfold once you've gotten it folded up. And then here we go, folding it back up. You can lift the handle up and hold in the flaps. There's a little attachment on the sides. You pull it up, you close it together, and then bada bing. It sits really nicely into the back of a van or car. And just because I had no idea what was going on behind me, but hey, you know what? Not gonna complain. So here's the long and short of it. We love our Wonderfold wagon. My little review that I had going on out in the front yard went a little sideways. We had 2 of our 3 dogs, of course the 2 90-pound ones ended up getting let out into the front yard, and they're good dogs, but they're not the best at listening to mom. I don't know if any of you guys have that same situation in your household. They definitely recognize my husband as the alpha dog, and then me, I'm just the incredibly loving mama. And so they got out and we had to get them back inside. I'm sure there's some hilarious ring footage all around my neighborhood of trying to get these 2 dogs back inside while also trying to wrangle 4 different kids so that the dogs aren't going in 8 different directions. Anywho, the long and short of it is we really, really love this Wonderfold wagon. I would frankly say any wagon is fantastic. These wagons are great, in my opinion, because they make your life with kids 1% easier. And if there is something that can make my life 1% easier, and if I can get a lot of those things that are 1% easier, I say win. The reason that the wagon makes your life 1% easier is you can usually fit more than one child. And so if you have more than one kid, then you're not having to, I don't know, vie for time in the stroller, and you're not having to create arbitrary rules like, oh, once you're 2, you can't, or once you're 3, you're not allowed to ride in the stroller because the baby needs to be in there. And you kind of get to avoid a little bit of that whining when, frankly, I get it. Sometimes I'm tired too, and I want to sit down and have someone push me, which in fact we have done. Because again, I told you 300 pounds is the limit on that thing. So I have definitely gotten in there and let my kids stroll me along. But the Wonderfold is fantastic. The W4 is great because it can fit all 4 of my kids. It can also fit things underneath them, which is huge. That's the special seats that I was showing you guys that allow the legs to dangle down. That's kind of a game changer, and why I love that wagon over a lot of the other wagons that you just like sit down into, is because the kids are surrounded by the things, whereas this has space for both. Typically, we will use this thing as a stroller. It is what we use to get up and get out of the house. If I'm taking folks on a walk, I typically will always bring it, and it's this revolving door of people that are getting in for a minute. I don't know, I don't think I got a video of it today, but there was one point when I had a couple of kids and a couple of their balance bikes were able to just hang out because the toddler, he can't quite keep up with the other kids, and I needed him to get a move on for a minute. So he had to ride in the stroller while we kind of caught up to the other crew. So these wagons are really fantastic. Also, if I were to do it over again, I don't think I would get strollers. Frankly, if you're having one child, probably a stroller is going to be great for you. But if you plan to have more than one, I would get a wagon simply because they last a whole lot longer. There comes a time when the kiddos don't want to be in a stroller. They don't want to be in the reclined position and the strapped in position. They just don't want to do that. And then also their things and the things that you bring get slightly larger. And so the wagon is able to accommodate them not really wanting to be restricted inside of a stroller. But also you get to bring them, you get to bring the things. You perhaps can bring any other siblings along for a hot second or two, or the whole walk if you need to, if you're going to the zoo or something. So if I were doing it all over again, like I said, I would completely bypass a stroller. I would get a wagon instead. And all these wagons, I know the Wonderfold has them, they have car seat adapters. So if you are planning on adding to your family, or if you're just starting out, grab the car seat adapter so you can still have your infant and your newborn up here, and then you can have your older child actually in the stroller. It's amazing, y'all. These things are essentially just like glorified pack and plays on wheels, which sign me up. Sign me up for that. It sounds fantastic. All right. So if you guys have a wagon and you love it, if you have a wagon and you hate it, if I am overlooking some huge, massive thing, some reason why people shouldn't get wagons, I would love to hear about it. Again, my goal here is to talk to you about things that make parenting just a little bit easier, because the reality is parenting is so hard. But there are things that we can do that make it a little less complicated, that make it a little bit easier to get through these long days with kids, and that lets us suck the joy, like in a good way, like ingest the joy more. Does that make sense? You know what I'm saying. Ignore the bad, increase the good, and parenting is so much better. All right, you guys, thanks for sticking around for this one. I know this was a little bit chappy, but I hope you enjoy, and I can't wait to see you next time. Thanks.